Hello there gorgeous gamers, and welcome back to Pure Play TV for another video review, and this time we're kicking ass and taking names in Path of the Warrior for Oculus Quest. The game is also available on PC VR, but we're looking specifically at the Oculus Quest version, and all footage here is from the Oculus Quest 2. A code was provided by the publisher. Path of the Warrior from developer Twisted Pixel is, based on the name alone, either a ridiculous budget title or a tongue-in-cheek homage to a beloved gaming genre of the past. I'm happy to say that it's not a steaming fistful of garbage, but instead a stylish reimagining of the beat-em-up genre. It's not perfect, but is it worth that 20 spot in your back pocket? That depends. Allow me to explain. Depending on whether you were an 80s kid like me or a 90s kid, you'll see the Path of the Warrior as a VR reimagining of Double Dragon or Streets of Rage. If you want either, let me explain. These were side-scrolling games where you simply walked from left to right, punching and kicking a lot of the same looking bad guys until you reached a level-ending boss. Rinse, wash, repeat, and enjoy. The story behind these games was always ridiculous, but it was the 80s, or the 90s, and it just worked. Now, 30 years later, it still mostly works, based on the fact that it's in virtual reality. There is no teleportation, but you can adjust your free locomotion speed as well as your turn speed. There's also click turning if you need it. I found the default settings just fine with no motion sickness, but obviously your mileage may vary. I played this on the Quest, so I did a lot of turning manually, but if you choose to play on the Rift S, or you just prefer to turn with the sticks, this method worked great with little to no discomfort. There was one exception to this, which I'll explain momentarily. You can pick between a perfectly ridiculous male or a female character, and when I say ridiculous, I'm talking about giant muscles, neon cyberpunk clothes, and spiked mohawks that defy nature, gravity, and good taste. And wait until you see the bad guys. Newcomers may question why so many of these bad guys look exactly the same. The answer to this is simple. That's how these games always were, and probably also because it was cheaper. It seems the local gangs have gone crazy and have kidnapped various townsfolk and strapped bombs to them. That strategy seems questionable at best, but we're gonna just go with it. Your enemies come at you slowly but relentlessly, and you'll need to pummel them until they fall. You can throw jabs, crosses, and uppercuts by actually throwing these punches. You'll need plenty of room, and I would suggest a good stretching routine. You can also throw kicks, but obviously you'll need to push buttons for that move. We may have finger tracking, but foot tracking remains frustratingly out of reach. These kicks are awkward as they seem to come out of your chest, but whatever. It didn't bother me at all. What did bother me is that each punch has a canned animation. Each and every jab looks the same. Each uppercut looks the same. You aren't dodging punches and you can't counter punch to the body. Even if you throw a punch to the body, it either won't connect or it lands on your opponent's head. And to dodge your enemy's attack, you'll either need to run away using your controllers or by quickly stepping back if you have the room. It feels like a huge missed opportunity that there isn't a more realistic style of boxing to use here. I know that this isn't a boxing game per se, and that there is a lot more going on here. But if Twisted Pixel could have just mixed in a bit of Thrill of the Fight or Creed style boxing, it feels like this game would have been amazing. As it stands now, it is a fun but too simple experience that relies heavily on nostalgia. But the nostalgia is strong with this one. The music, the graphics, the style, all of it made me feel good and kept a smile on my face. Where the gameplay does succeed is mostly in the ability to pick up any number of things in the area to pummel your foes. Chairs, pool sticks, frying pans, the list goes on. They all break after a few uses, but it's fun to stun a guy with a broken pool cue and then throw his dazed body into a jukebox. Death by stereo, if you will. Plus, I once threw a man into an oven just to watch him burn. Don't judge me. The best part of the game for me, however, was figuring out how to defeat the many different and crazy bosses. Figuring out the formula to defeat each of these over-the-top foes wasn't overly difficult, but it was fun and a welcome change of pace. Unfortunately, fighting these bosses was about the only change of pace the game features. I don't get sick from walking around in VR games that are optimised properly, and Path of the Warrior looks and feels great, but there is one boss battle that featured two female skaters in a big skating rink. They skated circles around me, and at one point I was spinning around trying to figure out where they were, and I did get a little bit dizzy. I beat them on my first try, thankfully, because I would have had to have taken a break to try again. In the end, Path of the Warrior is a great reminder that there are plenty of 2D gaming genres that can be adapted to the VR format and still be lots of fun. I find that prospect very exciting and I can't wait to see what comes next. Path of the Warrior is a nice step in a cool new direction that just barely misses its mark. And that's the end of this review. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. If you did, you know where to go. Down below, like, subscribe, hit the bell button. That way you get notified whenever we've got new stuff. And honestly, it helps us. Thank you. I've been Chris, you've been lovely, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, bye!